Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Manal Talks Books. I'm Manal and let's talk books. So today I'm going to review, the Bridgerton series. It's a series of 8 books by Julia Quinn, and it's historical romance, which is something I really love and I hope that you'll love too. So if you love reading historical romance and you didn't know what to read next, hopefully you'll want to pick up the Bridgerton books because of this video. So I'm going to talk specifically about the first book because, again, it's a series of 8 books, so I don't want to spoil it. And I've only read the first 4 books. I'm actually in the middle of the 5th one, so I can't speak for the later books. But yeah, so overall, I'm going to talk about what's interesting and what is to love about this series, but I'm going to focus on the first book. So the first book I've got right here, it's called The Duke and I, and something you got to know about this family, like I said, it follows 8 siblings, and each book is about a sibling, and they're the Bridgertons, but they're all named alphabetically, so from A to H. So we have Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloise, Francesca, Gregory, and Hyacinth. So this first book is actually about Daphne, so the 4th child and not the first one. The second book is called The Viscount Who Loved Me, and this is Anthony's book. The third book is called An Offer from a Gentleman, and this is Benedict's book. And then the last book is Romancing Mr. Bridgerton, and this is Colin's book. So we've got A, B, C, D, but Daphne starts out the series. So, I'm specifically going to talk about tropes and, tropes I love from this book, like why you should read it. And if you love the same tropes, maybe you'll want to pick up this book. So, also, most romance series you can read out of order because, that's just how it is. However, with this series, I would really recommend not skipping books and reading them in order. You're just going to get the best experience that way because you get introduced to the characters in the first book and you really need the backstory. And there's also this character in here whose identity we don't know about, and her name is Lady Whistledown, and she's this news columnist, gossip columnist, and she basically writes gossip about these rich people, the aristocracy. And so no one knows who she is. They don't know if she's someone among them. She probably is because she knows about everything that happens, and so she writes about it. And it's very scandalous. And so you get introduced to her in this first book. You get introduced to her columns, and so if you skip books, you might spoil yourself on who she is, and you need the full experience with these books, and believe me, it's worth it. Every book is really, really good, and whenever I read romance, there are I don't care how good the romance book is, if it doesn't have the tropes I love, the buzzwords I love, I will not pick it up. And so certain books in this series did not attract me really, but I forced myself to read them, to start them, because again, I didn't want to skip books. So I picked up all of them in order, even if there were certain ones that I didn't want to read. But every time I picked one up, I got sucked in. So even if in the beginning I was this doesn't really interest me, I want to jump to the 3rd one, or I want to jump to the 5th one, I was no, you got to read them in order. And that's what I did, and I got sucked in. every time. So let me talk about the first book. Well, first of all, overall, what is great about the series? What do I really love? I love books about big families, big casts of characters. And again, we have 8 siblings in here. And I have notes here, so I might like look at my notes. What did I write? Okay. I wrote that I really loved the sibling dynamic, and they feel like a family, and they are a really, really close family. And the siblings banter a lot. They argue a lot, but you also feel that they love each other. And their father is dead, so they're only their mother, and I love their mom. The siblings feel like actual siblings. They feel like a real family. The girls growing up with older brothers are feisty and do not take anyone's shit. So they're not like little dainty flowers. And the boys are super protective of their sisters, which can get annoying, but it's also cute. But yeah, so they like make fun of one another. They argue a lot. They banter a lot. It's just, you feel that they're siblings and that they're a real family. When you have a scene with all of them together, it just like jumps off the page. You feel like you're intruding on a family dinner or a family game. They have this game that they play in the second book, and oh my god, they're so competitive, like real siblings. So yeah, so the siblings and family dynamic, I love it. And their mother does not, their mother is, how do I explain this? First of all, she's a great woman. She has control over her kids. Her husband died when she was pregnant with her last child. And so she was a single mom for a long time. And like any single mom, she's a strong, feisty woman who raised really amazing kids, amazing boys, amazing girls. And she wants to get them all married. And that is her only like job in life. She wants to see all her boys and girls married, and she makes it like her mission. So let's talk about the first book. So in this first book, we have our MCs, Daphne and Simon. So Daphne is, like I said, the 4th child, and it's her first or second season, I believe. And a season is like the time where all the eligible young ladies are trying to catch a husband. And so her mother brings her to all the parties in town, and her mom's goal is to get her to marry, to find someone. However, Daphne has this problem where she's liked by all the men, but they consider her as a friend, so they've all friend zoned her, and like no one's proposing to her because she's like one of the boys, you know? And so she wants more male attention. And then on the other hand, we have our male hero, who, his name is Simon, and he's a duke, and he has been gone for 5 years traveling because he has like this really bad relationship with his dad because of his past. He has a tragic past because he has a speech disability. And so his dad kind of shunned him, and he went away for a while, and now he's back, and he's Daphne's brother's best friend. So now that he's back, all the mamas and their daughters are trying to catch him because he's a really good catch. He's a duke, he's rich, he's handsome, and although he's got like this bad reputation because he's a rake, which a rake I guess is like a player, we'd call them players now, like, and so although he's a rake, he's also a duke and rich and handsome, and all the eligible ladies and their mamas want him. So he does not want that. He does not want the attention. And so him and Daphne decide to fake date. So the plan is that they're going to pretend to be in love so that all the female attention gets off of him, but all the men are going to be jealous and they're going to want Daphne, and so she's going to have male attention. And obviously Anthony, who is a super protective older brother, does not want this rake, even though he's his best friend, to date his sister. So Daphne in this book is this like innocent girl, and like I said, she's not a dainty little flower. She can throw a punch, and she's very outspoken and loud, and I guess not very ladylike, because again, growing up with brothers. But she is very innocent, and I would say ignorant, which we're finally coming to one thing. The first thing that I really, really hated from this book, that's the ignorance of these women. And I don't know if it's because I live in the 21st century, but it just enraged me. I was mad for her because she didn't know anything about sex, and I mean anything. She did not know the mechanics of it all. She did not know how babies were made. She did not know this until her wedding night, which, spoiler alert, there's a marriage of convenience that happens about halfway through this book. Because Simon and Daphne get caught in a compromising position. So yeah, they have to like get married, and on her the day, on the eve of her wedding day, her mom comes to talk to her about what's going to happen on her wedding night. But her mom doesn't tell her like anything substantial. And so this girl is just so ignorant on her wedding night, and she's so vulnerable. And I hated that, because having all the facts and being educated is always a good thing and allows you to like take control in some way. But this girl didn't know anything, and it was really, really frustrating. So you might get frustrated by this. However, again, this takes place in 1813, so and the second problem is with the overprotectiveness of her brothers, specifically Anthony, which I really hated in this book, but then I grew to love him in the second book. But yeah, he was so overprotective, and it was just bad. So overall, really loved this book. But there were some really frustrating things, like the ignorance of the women and the overprotectiveness. But overall, the good outweighs the bad. And if you keep reading, it gets better every time. And my frustration does go down. And by the fourth book, it gets better. The girls know a little bit more. And yeah, just the thing about these books is you really cannot put them down. I don't know how to explain it, but if you're a romance reader, you probably know. Romance books just have this way of sucking you in, where you have to finish them in like one sitting or 2 days at the most. I was reading the third book, which is a Cinderella retelling. I was reading that book till 4 a.m, and I had to sleep because I think I had work in the morning. I had to be up at 7 to go to work, but I could not put it down. I tried putting it down, but then, and I tried to go to sleep. Then I was just thinking about it, and I had to pick it up because I was like, I mean, you're not going to sleep because you're going to be thinking about it. You might as well read it and not sleep. That was it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're gonna pick these books up. And thank you so much for watching. Give it a like if you like it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. I'll see you next time.